The Viking Age in Scandinavia is considered to have ended with the establishment of centralized authority in these countries and the adoption of Christianity as the dominant religion. This date is roughly estimated to be the end of the 11th century in the three Scandinavian countries. The end of the Viking Age in Norway was marked by the Battle of Stiklestad in 1030. Although the army of Olaf Haraldsson, later known as Saint Olaf, lost this battle, Christianity spread after his death, partly due to rumors of miraculous signs. Norwegians were no longer referred to as Vikings. The clinker-built longships used by the Scandinavians were suitable for sailing in both deep and shallow waters. They expanded the reach of Scandinavian raiders, traders, and settlers along coastlines and major river valleys in northwestern Europe. Prince Rurik also expanded eastward and became a ruler in 859, either through conquest or by invitation from the locals of Veliki Novgorod, meaning New City, located on the Volkhov River. The Rurik dynasty continued to expand, establishing the Kievan Rus' state with its capital in Kiev. This rule lasted until 1240, when the Mongol invasion began. Other Scandinavians, particularly those from what is now Sweden and Norway, continued their expansions southward toward the Black Sea and then to Constantinople. Whenever Viking ships ran aground in shallow waters, they reportedly turned them on their sides and dragged them through the shallows to deeper waters. The eastern connections established by these Varangians brought Byzantine silk, coins from Samarkand, and even seashells from the Red Sea to the Scandinavian city of York. The kingdom of the Franks, particularly under the leadership of Charlemagne, was the most affected by these raiders, who were able to sail up the Seine River and establish fortifications nearby. Toward the end of Charlemagne's reign, and throughout the reigns of his sons and grandsons, a series of Scandinavian raids began, culminating in the gradual invasion and settlement of the region now known as Normandy. In 911, the French king Charles the Simple was able to reach an agreement with the Viking leader Rollo of Normandy, a leader of disputed origins, either Norwegian or Danish. Charles granted Rollo the title of Duke and gave him and his followers ownership of Normandy. In return, Rollo swore allegiance to Charles, converted to Christianity, and pledged to defend the northern region of France against raids by other Viking groups. After several generations, the descendants of these Norman settlers no longer considered themselves Vikings, but rather French, and they brought the French language and their distinct culture to England in 1066. With the Norman conquest of England, they became the ruling aristocracy of Anglo-Saxon England. There are many different opinions regarding the reasons behind the Viking invasions. For people living along the coast, the Vikings' pursuit of new lands near the sea seemed natural. Another reason is that during this period, England, Wales, and Ireland, which were divided into many different warring kingdoms, were in a state of internal chaos and became easy prey for invaders. However, the Franks defended their coasts well and heavily fortified their ports and harbors. A pure thirst for adventure may also have been a factor. Some believe that the cause of these attacks was population growth due to technological advancements, such as the use of iron. Another possible reason is the pressure caused by Frankish expansions to the south of Scandinavia and their repeated attacks on Viking peoples. Another contributing factor was Harald Fairhair, the first king of Norway, unifying the country at this time, leaving many displaced warriors who had been expelled from his kingdom with nowhere to go. As a result, these Vikings became raiders, seeking livelihoods and bases from which to launch counter-raids against Harald. One theory suggests that the Vikings wanted to plant crops after winter ended and conducted raids as soon as the sea ice melted, then returned home with their plunder in time for the harvest. One of the most important trading centers was located in Hedeby. Close to the border with the Franks, this center was a meeting point of cultures until it was ultimately destroyed by the Norwegians in a fierce conflict around 1050. York was the center of the Scandinavian Kingdom of York from 866, and discoveries there, such as a silk cap, a forged coin from Samarkand, and seashells from the Red Sea or the Arabian Gulf, suggest that Scandinavian trade relations extended beyond Byzantium. However, these items could also have been Byzantine imports, and there is no reason to assume that the Varangians traveled far beyond the borders of Byzantium and the Caspian Sea.